like I'm sideways. We are always changing things up here on the Jamie Run Colors YouTube channel, and today is no different. I have moved my desk, and it feels like a much better place for my desk and to be able to get in and out of my desk and like store stuff in places that I can reach and see better. But man, has it caused issues for filming. And so I'm still trying to figure it out. And that's kind of what this, I don't know, video is kind of about, is me seeing if this works, seeing how this feels. Yeah, I have been hanging my camera from a tripod that is hanging from the ceiling by one of those like planter hooks, you know, that you like hang a macrame plant hanger from. Anyways, this is how it's been for 3 years. And yeah, I was trying to change that up. And so I now have like this tripod that is clamped to my desk. And here, well, can I do that? I don't know if I can. Let's see if I can. I'm going to take a picture of it and then insert the picture so you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've inserted that picture. So that's what I have going on now, but because of like where I've placed my desk, it like changed all of the lighting. So I'm still, I don't know, I'm seeing what is working. Oh, and it has been, ooh, it's been a week, you know? It's only Monday. That's what kind of week it has been. But because of the angle, I am now like sideways to my picture. So I don't know. It works. I feel fine. I don't know. We will see how you guys feel. Ooh, here's another spot. I should do this one. So I've been working on these Hannah Lynn pictures, all in watercolor, or I am on one, all on, my brain is gone. I am working on these Hannah Lynn pictures from, I think it's the Sweet and Simple book. There's 50 pictures in this book. A lot of her books have like duplicates, but this one has 50 different pictures, and so I am doing them in all alcohol marker, and I am so close to being done with this book. I am very excited. It's very awesome. What kind of color do I want for this? So these are Copics. I don't even know what paper this is. No clue, because I printed this a while ago, and it's been hanging out in my book all year because now I'm near the end of it. So it's very exciting. Yeah, it has been a week. Do you remember a few weeks ago when I was so excited that school was starting and my kids were gonna all be in all-day school, and how I was envisioning like all of this amazing time, and it has been one stress after another since school started. It has been awful. I think I have cried every single night for the last 2 weeks. It has been rough. And yes, it has been very rough. I've talked a little bit about this. My youngest has been diagnosed with what is called Dmdd. And I'll put a little paper up on the screen here that tells you kind of what that is, because it is not a very well-known diagnosis, and it actually, I don't believe it became like a diagnosis until 2013. And so it's very new in the world of diagnoses. They used to just give these kids the diagnosis of bipolar, but it doesn't, their symptoms don't fit all of bipolar because they don't have the manic part of it. So like I said, I put a thing up on the screen that kind of tells you a little bit about DMDD, but what it stands for is disruptive mood dysregulatory disorder. And in essence, what it means is that they don't have the control that they should at their age of their like outbursts. You know, you expect 2-year-olds to have big temper tantrums, but you don't expect a 6 or 7-year-old to have the same temper tantrums to the same degree. And if you think about what a 2-year-old does when they have a temper tantrum, they're thrashing around, they're screaming, they're, you know, pounding their fists, and it's fine because they're little. But when you have a bigger kid who's bigger and stronger, and they're behaving in the same way, it is very disruptive, and it's dangerous, you know, because they are bigger and you can get hurt and they can get hurt, and it's very challenging. So that's one kind of aspect of DMDD. So another is like they can be triggered by like stress and those kind of just things, like if they don't know what's going on or if something changes in their life or whatever, can be they can be triggered and have more outbursts, and that's what's happened with my son. So this is his first year of having all-day school, and he does pretty good in the morning, and then when the afternoon hits, he can't control anything anymore. He is completely disruptive. It's being very hard on everybody. So let me just read you some of this. So, okay, so let me read you some of this. So, DMDD is a condition in which children or adolescents experience ongoing irritability, anger, and frequent intense temper outbursts. So it's like they have these intense outbursts, but in between the outbursts, they're still angry, like a lot. They are angry a lot of the time. And we find that with him. I was talking to his kindergarten teacher once, and he said, I see this in him a lot. I was talking to her about this. Most kids, like young kids, kindergarten, preschool age kids, are happy. Most of the time, they are happy. And then they have these moments where they are angry. They have moments of outbursts. And usually, they come out of it pretty quick. Like once their discomfort or the situation is handled, they become happy again. Because like happy is like their normal state. And my kid is angry all of the time. And then he has these moments of happiness and joy. But like, it's like his natural state of being is anger and being angry and irritable. And he kind of wants everybody else to be there with him, because you know misery loves company. And so he does things to make other people as angry as he is. Though I don't think that's his intent. Okay? Alright, so let's see. The symptoms of DMDD go beyond a bad mood. Okay? I mean, they're severe. The symptoms are severe. Youth who have DMDD experience significant problems at home, at school, and often with peers. And we see this because for a long time with him, I was like, it's me, I'm a terrible mom, I was never meant to be a mother, I can't handle this, I'm just doing a terrible job, like, this is awful. And then he started to go to school and be around other people, and they're like, in some ways it was good because it was validating, like, he does have a problem, this is him and not me. But at the same time, you don't want to hear that your child is causing these kind of problems out in the world, And I have a hard time because I'm like, children are a reflection of the parent. But in this case, we are trying so hard. I mean, we have had him in therapy. He's 6, and we've had him in therapy for 3 years. We have tried everything. He is on medication because we tried everything else, and he doesn't sleep if he doesn't have medication, and he can't function. He can't. It is impossible for him. And it's always a hard decision for parents to put their kids on medication, and there's a lot of stigma around putting a child on medication. But I think what society needs to realize is that good parents that are really trying and really paying attention to their kids are not making this decision lightly. This is a very hard decision. And I've had people tell me, and friends and stuff, who've had to make this decision as well for their kids, that we get a lot of backlash for it. A lot of people making snide comments about how, well, I would never put my child on medication, and stuff like that. And if your child had cancer, would you treat it? If your child had diabetes, would you treat it? This isn't any different. I mean, he was born with this. It is affecting his well-being and truly affecting his life. So why wouldn't you treat it? Okay. They also tend to have high rates of healthcare service use, hospitalization, and school suspensions, and they are more likely to develop other mood disorders. Now, I haven't ended up in the hospital with my child, but I am shocked that I have not ended up in the hospital with my child. I am thoroughly shocked that he has not broken a bone or something else, because his tantrums are so severe and he is hitting things, punching things, including people, kicking things. The kid always is covered in bruises. It terrifies me that people will see him and think that we're beating him at home, because he always has bruises. Because one, he also has ADHD, and he never looks where he is walking. You have no idea how many times I have watched that child run into a wall or a corner or a table or a chair. Like, he never faces his head forward when he walks. Like, today he ran into the front door. Like, because he's so distracted by everything else around him that he's always looking at something else and not paying attention to where he's going. And then he does throw temper tantrums where he does end up getting hurt. He does smack his head on things. He does, I try to get to him as quickly as I can. I try to use breathing techniques to get him to calm down. But sometimes it's a lost cause, and sometimes all I can do is get him to his room. That's a safe place to keep him safe and to keep others safe so that he's not beating them up. So I'm surprised that we haven't ended up in the hospital with him. But so far, we haven't, and I am grateful for that. So, I don't know that it's on this one, but I also was noticing like a common thing that websites and medical journals were saying, and that we have discussed with therapists and psychiatrists with him, is that they don't, they misinterpret others' intentions. So, like, I don't hit my kids. I don't spank my kids. One, it wouldn't do a bit of good. Like, him, he would just be like, that hurt you worse than me. You want to try again? Like, that would be his attitude toward it. Actually, I've asked him if do you need a spanking? And he said yes, turned around and exposed his butt to me. Because it doesn't do a bit of good. Discipline in and of itself doesn't do a bit of good. We have done timeouts. Don't get too close to him if you put him in a timeout, because he will kick you when you walk by, and he will spit on you if you get too close when he's in a timeout. Doesn't work. I haven't done it in probably a year because it doesn't work. We have done time ins. They tend to work better, where he's like sitting in the chair in here with me, looking at a book or something, trying to calm down. And I'm here able to talk to him. He has something to do. He's not alone. He has someone to talk him through it. That has worked the best. But it's hard on the parent, because you've got to get them to the point where you can get them in the chair to be in the room with you, and you're trying not to lose your mind because you are with a child that is screaming. And it's difficult to keep your cool. It's not easy. So he started first grade, all day school. The first day or two, like, I asked the teachers, like, hey, how's it going? She knew that he had issues coming into her classroom. She was informed. I don't know that if you could ever really understand the extent seeing it on paper rather than experiencing it yourself. And I don't know how prepared you can actually be for a kid like this coming into your classroom. But she was aware, and so I was checking in. Like, the second day, I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's he doing? Are you okay? I gotta reach over here for a black. Are you okay? Because, I'm with this child all the time. I know it's hard. So she came back with, yeah, he's doing great. And I was like, honeymoon stage. Honeymoon stage. It's not going to last. I did not tell the teacher this, but I was like, that's what I thought in my head when she said, oh yeah, he's doing great. I was like, honeymoon stage, it's not going to last. So the next day, I think it was the next day, Friday, the end of school. I will pull it up. I will read you the message that she sent me. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so yes, I contacted her, let's see, in the morning it was the morning. Okay, so I texted her on the morning of the 20th, which was a Friday, and was like, how is he done in your class this week? I was worried about the adjustment to all-day school, and she's like, no, he's doing pretty good, you know. People have told me he's adjusting, so it's only been a few days. We'll figure it out. It'll be okay. And I was like, good. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need me. I can tell he's tired after school because it has been rough at home, which it has been. But hopefully he will adjust and it will get even better. Oh man, was I wrong? Okay. I mean, we're still adjusting. We're only on the third week here. And this was the end of the first week. Okay. So that night, she sends me a message that says, okay, so today was really rough. He was hitting and kicking other kiddos. He was tearing things apart, drawing on others' desks. He would fill his mouth with water and either spit it on people or spit it all over their paper. It was pretty tough. And I, of course, my response was, I want to tell you that I am so sorry, which I am, and that he won't do it again, but he will. And then I said that the psychiatrist for the school is aware of him, so utilize him, and if you need to send him to the wellness room to calm down, it won't be his first time there. At home, that is about all I can do, is send him to his room where he is safe and away from me and my other kids so that they are safe, and let him calm down. Then go talk to him when he is calm. It's so hard. And she said he did go to the wellness room today, and that did help for a moment. And I was like, okay. So we kind of talked back and forth a little bit. Okay, Tuesday. So that was Friday. Tuesday, she said he bit someone in class. He also poured his water bottle all over 2 students and continues to kick and touch others. It's definitely happening more in the afternoon. I set him up a sticker chart with him to earn rewards. He was really motivated by that in the morning, but by the afternoon he really didn't care much. I'll brainstorm with the psychiatrist to see if he has any ideas or advice. And that's something that we have definitely seen at home, is that we'll come up with a plan and it will work for a while. And then, will work for a while, and then it's all of a sudden he doesn't care anymore. It's I don't care. Oh, you're going to take all my toys away? Great. I don't care. You can have them all. You know? The first toy you took away was dramatic and awful. And so he shaped up and got his act together. But then you go to use that same, again, hey, you need to do this or you're going to get this toy taken away. Well, now he doesn't care. You can take all of his toys. He doesn't care. It doesn't even faze him. So that's really rough. Okay, so I told her that having something for him to earn would be a great idea. That's worked in the past, something that he can come home and show me that he did good that day so that he can get that good praise, That would be good. And I said, sometimes if I need to do something and he can't be with his brothers because he will beat them up, which is, he's the youngest of my kids, but he's the one doing the beating, I will have him work on the computer, doing Lexia or math stuff. And he likes to be on the computer, and so he will do that. So I'm hey, this is what I do at home. If I can't have him with the other kids, I'll just kind of put him where I can see him on the computer, do what I need to do, and he can work on the computer. And she said, okay, that's a great idea. And so then this is the next Tuesday. Oh no, this is the afternoon. So that was in the morning. This is the afternoon. So she said, he had another rough day. He bit me twice, pulled another student's hair, and really is struggling. I sat down with a psychiatrist after school and brainstormed some ideas. Most of his behaviors are happening in the afternoon. The morning time, I can redirect him easier and get him back on track. So we have set up a temporary plan. The psychiatrist is going to come and get him to walk him down to the wellness room for 2 different breaks in the afternoon, one at 12:30 and at 2. I think this will help break up the long hours that he isn't used to. He'll get to use his Chromebook, you know. So she's like saying, this is kind of what we're thinking. I also have a designated spot for him to go to now away from the kids if he feels he needs his own space. You know, she's really trying. Like, she's really trying to come up with things. And I'm like, I want to help her. I want to say, like, if you do A, B, and C, then you'll get a really good outcome with him. But I don't have those A, B, and C's. Like, I have been his mom since he was 10 months old. He's adopted. I've had him since he was 10 months old. He's now, he'll be 7 in a couple of months. And I don't know, like, it changes from moment to moment, like, of what works and what doesn't. So the next day, after lunch was okay. He had 2 scheduled breaks, which we had talked about. He did bite the girl sitting next to him, and he did kick people in the line at recess in their private parts. So now he's kicking people's private parts. This is great. I talked with the psychiatrist again, and I'm going to give him a job in line, like holding my clipboard, to see if that distracts him or keeps him preoccupied. So not super wonderful, but definitely an improvement. And I think that is crazy because she's saying, like, he improved today. He only bit one child and kicked people in their private parts. He did great, you know. It's embarrassing. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I like sent her a link for educators of what, like, steps that you can take if you have a Dmdd kid that I had found online. Like, it's rough, you know? Okay, so we were talking about homework and stuff. Okay, here's another day. Oh, he came home with this big old bruise on his face under his eye, and he told me that he hit his head, and I was like, he's not the most honest kid. And I was like, did you, like, hit your face on a chair? Did you hit your face on someone else's fist? Like, how did you hit? So she was like, I was going to eat. So I text her. I was like, hey, he came home with a bruise on his face. Like, I'm not shocked, you know, but I just want to make sure he wasn't, like, fighting. And she was like, no, he was bouncing around on a ball when I was trying to read a story, and he knocked into a chair, and it was, you know, but he wasn't fighting. And I was like, okay. She's like, but he did have a few incidents today, mainly with spitting and kicking. It has escalated to the point that this morning before school, he was spitting and kicking any kid that walked by. So not just first graders. A few second grade parents contacted the office today concerned. So now I have parents of not just his class, but the entire school calling the school worried that my child is around their child. And I totally understand. And I don't like have any hard feelings toward any parent who's calling concerned. because I would be concerned too, you know? And I do have that like point where I'm like, at what point is it too detrimental to other children that he is there at the school? But at the same time, I have nowhere else to put him. Like, I have looked online at every resource I can find, and there is like no other schools or therapeutic schools for his age group. There's therapeutic preschools, which he went to, and there are therapeutic junior and high schools, but there are no therapeutic elementary schools. There is nowhere for me to send him. And if I take him out of the school and homeschool him, I'm terrified that I will go insane, to be honest, because it will be me all day long by myself with him, and I will never get a break. And it is difficult. And we all have our breaking points as parents. We wish we didn't. We wish we just were superheroes and could handle everything that's thrown at us, but we're not, and we don't. And honestly, yesterday, I mean, this is after a long week, and it's Sunday. My husband is working again. He's worked all week, all weekend. I've been dealing with all of this stuff. I've been dealing with the school contacting me every single day, telling me how difficult my child is, trying to work this out with me and figure it out. And I am tired. I am done. I don't know what to do. I'm so frustrated. I have him at church, and he is doing the same kind of things with me. And he's like, it's so hard. And so I come home, and a couple hours later, he is throwing this huge tantrum over his tablet. And so I go down, he's smashing a $200 tablet into things and chucking it down the hall, and he's going to hurt somebody or himself or break his tablet. And so I tell him, I'm like, hey, I go and I pick it up, and I'm like, you gotta calm down. You can't have this when you're acting like that. You know, you're gonna break something. You're gonna hurt somebody. And he is already angry. He's already triggered, and he loses it. He completely loses it. And he is screaming and kicking and tearing at my clothes and scratching me and screaming. And I am done. I'm so done. And I've reached that point where I can't do it anymore. And it's not safe for him to be with me because I have lost it. And I am going to smother this child. I am going to put my hands over his mouth to quit the screaming that is coming out of his mouth. And I'm going to hold my hands there until he stops moving. And I can see this in myself. And I consider myself to be a really good person. And I consider myself to be a very patient person. But I've reached my limit. My husband is not home. So I take my child by the hand, and without grabbing shoes or anything else, I walk him up the stairs, half dragging him, but I walk him up the stairs and across to my front lawn to the neighbor's house, and I ring the doorbell at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. And the little boy who has been screaming and scratching me and hitting me is now standing there with these gorgeous big blue eyes and the biggest smile on his face when my neighbor's door opens and my neighbor's standing there, and he's says, "Hi, Chuck." He's so happy to see him. So happy to see the neighbor. It's a completely different child than the one that was just with me. And I look at my neighbor. He's this big guy. He is big and burly and amazing. He is an amazing man. And I appreciate him so much. And I ask him, "Are you home alone?" And he says, "No, like his wife's there, his daughter's there, his son's there. His kids are teenagers or older. His youngest just graduated from high school, so even older." And I'm like, "Can my son stay with you until my husband gets home?" Which is an hour and a half away. And he says, "Yeah." And he can tell that, I'm not okay. I mean, this is a rather odd request, And I just mouthed to him, "I'm going to kill him." And I hand my child to him and I walk away. And I go home and I cry like a crazy person. And I tell myself how absolutely awful I am and how I'm not cut out to be a mom and how I never should have adopted him. And just how awful I am. And then I pull myself back together and I love this child so much that I can't throw him away. I can't just call the state and be like, "I'm sorry, I can no longer do this." Because what happens to him? He goes into a system where he never gets a family because who's going to take him? I've already put 5.5 years into this kid and I love him. He has an amazing spirit. He is good inside, but he cannot control this. And so I put myself back together and I call my husband and I tell him the situation, that he has to stop by the neighbor's house and get our son before he comes home, and to please explain what is going on to the neighbor, because I just dropped off a perfectly happy child to the neighbor, and because I'm going to kill him, I look like the crazy person. I look like the psychopath. And so I'm like, please just explain to him the situation. And our neighbor is they're an amazing family. They've had their struggles. My camera turned off, of course, because I've been talking way too long. This video is going to be way too long. They're an amazing family. Half of their children are adopted. 2 out of the 4 are adopted. And, it comes with its own challenges that sometimes people don't understand. But this family does. He gets it. He's sweet as can be. His wife is as well. They've been through their struggles. They're still going through some horrible struggles, and they get it. And they were so loving and so kind, and just, hey, whenever you need a break, if you need to drop off all 3 of them, that's okay. Our house can be a safe house for them and for you. And, no judgment, they were just very kind. And it was what I needed. And I'm still working on figuring this out. This has been a hard transition, but we're going to get there. And I just want more people to know and understand what's going on with these kids that maybe seem out of control when you meet them, and their parents look frazzled and not put together, because they are frazzled and they're tired and they're putting everything they have into these kids, and they're not getting a lot back, and it's hard. And it's really easy to judge a family or a person or a parent by this little tiny bit that you see when there's so much more going on. So be kind to others. And I'm going to keep working. We're going to keep trying. And today we had a really good day. He went to school. I don't know how that went. I haven't heard from his teacher yet, so maybe it was amazing. But he came home and he spent the entire afternoon with me. We had one little outburst, and we were able to get it under control pretty quick. And we did really good today. And I'm hoping that we can, implement having a schedule that he keeps every day, and that will help him. I'm going into and talking to both the teacher, the school psychiatrist, and anybody else who wants to be there in that meeting on Wednesday, 2 days from now, about my child. I have an appointment with his psychiatrist to talk about what's going on, and this is his doctor or psychiatrist who does the prescribing for his meds and stuff, seeing if there's anything we can adjust there that may help him feel better and feel more comfortable. And I am doing my best to take care of myself and take the breaks that I need. And I haven't cried yet today, and this might be the first time in 14 days that I haven't cried, but the day's not over yet, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, reach out to a mom. The world is hard out there. Anyways, I know I didn't do a ton of coloring. I'm still working on finishing these pictures with alcohol marker. I'm hoping to have a completed book here in a day or two, which will probably be my first completed book, so that's exciting. I hope you guys have an awesome day, an awesome week, awesome weekend, and that you do find time to relax, because I know that I need to, and I know that coloring and art is a safe place for me and a place that helps me feel better, because I can sit and color for 10 minutes and it's like all of a sudden I take this deep cleansing breath and I feel all this stress leave me. And that's why I color, and that's why I do art. And that's what I want for you guys too. So if you're going through a hard time, find some color that you can throw around and help yourself feel better. And if coloring's not your thing, go get in the tub. Eat a piece of chocolate. We all have those things. So I thank you for listening to me, and I do hope you have an awesome week and weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.